Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Sheff United Way match reaction from Sheffield United 2, West Ham 2. Do you know what? I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. Not about the fact that we drew this game because I think we deserved all 3 points. I'm just happy that I'm going back to watching Sheffield United try really hard, play really well, score a couple of goals. Yeah, there were a lot that could be improved from that performance, and maybe West Ham weren't on the top of their game, but we were brilliant from start to finish. I think that's the best performance of the season. And I was a little bit worried going into it, looking at the lineup, to be perfectly honest. Let us know what you think in the comments as I go along. I'll try and bring up some comments on screen. I'm not always great at it. I normally go through them all at the end, but I'll try and bring a few comments up as we go along. A few things that I've written down already that in this game, we had a lot higher possession than West Ham United, 57%. That has got to be the highest of the season. Surely, got to be. Please let me know in the comments if you can think of or if you can prove me wrong. That's absolutely fine. But 57% is massive for us this season. Even in games where I've thought we are the better team, we've had more of the ball, we've come out with 48%, 47%, 57 tonight, 57. That's a lot. Especially against a team as good as West Ham. And looking, I think there were a lot of kidding going on in the lead up to this game because I don't know the players that were supposedly out for West Ham. Obviously, I know that the lad went to the African Cup of Nations. Was it Kudos? And that's a big miss for West Ham. But other than that, I can't really think of many players that they were missing today. Let's have a little look at who was missing for them. Aguard, national selection, so that's the same. Alvarez, Antonio, Kudus, and Paqueta. Paqueta is a big miss, but looking at that team, it's just Kufal, Areola, Zuma, Emerson, Ward-Prowse, Souček, two of the best defensive midfield pairing in the Premier League for me. Bowen, Fornals, Cornet, Ings. That's an incredible starting lineup. Incredible. And the fact that I was going into this thinking they're going to have to put a load of kids out. I think the bench wasn't fantastic. Bonner, Creswell, I think they're the only two that I actually know. Actually, players that came on. Yeah, not sure. Not sure, to be honest. It wasn't a star-studded subs bench, but the first team was really, really strong. And to have 57% possession against a team like that, yes, we're at home, but we have not dominated a team like that all season. So it's just fantastic to see. It really is. 21 goal attempts from the Blades today, 6 on target, which is one more than West Ham. We have more corners, which obviously is not a massive thing, especially when they win everything in the air. So having more corners probably wasn't a great start. But look, going on the possession as well, 120 passes we had more than them, 488 passes altogether, the Blades. That also could be the most of the season. I think it has to be. We passed it around a lot at the back. In our own half, we passed it around a lot. So obviously it's not a great stat, but it's a stat nonetheless. Anyway, so we'll have a look at the lineup first and foremost. The reason why I was a little bit worried about this was because we had McBurney and we had Cameron Archer on the bench, two, let's just say £20 million players, because we paid 18 to 20 on McBurney. I think it probably ended up being 18. More, I think it was around the same for Cameron Archer as well. And we started with a youngster up front who'd scored 2 goals against Gillingham. And that worried me a little bit because obviously I'm a big fan of Willisula, a huge, huge fan of Willisula. But in a game where I'm thinking we need to win this, we are desperate to win this, I possibly wouldn't have gone with him up front. How wrong I was, because I thought Willisula was fantastic up front today. Obviously only played for the first 45, but he caused them some right problems. And obviously set the goal up for Ben Barrett and Diaz as well. So there was one that got passed through, and I'm thinking he's through here. He took it really well. I think he almost pushed it through his legs, but he took a little bit of a stumble and couldn't get onto the end of it because He's a quick player, Willisula, but he's not absolutely rapid. So, but I don't know. We played perfectly for him today. We played the ball kind of on that left hand side over and round for him to chase onto, and then Andre Brooks to kind of back him up because he was constantly trying to back him up. Andre Brooks 6.7 Andre Brooks got today. I thought Andre Brooks was fantastic. And I think sometimes stats don't tell you everything because Andre Brooks, for me, was possibly our best player on the pitch. I thought he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought James McAtee had a good game as well. He looked really tired towards the end, probably knocked him down a few points because of, he was a little bit tired. Maybe it's the lack of football in the last last week or so. Ben Brereton Diaz thought he just came into his own straight away. He's just like, this is where I've been playing all my career. I thought did really, really well, especially in the first half. Obviously, got his goal as well, which will help a lot because from what I've heard from Blackburn fans, Ben Brereton Diaz, when he's scoring goals, he is untouchable. He is like Midas. But when he's not, he is hopeless. So let's hope he carries on being incredible. I'm not saying he was today. He was good today. I really, really enjoyed watching him play for us today rather than against us because he always scares me a little bit when we play against Ben Brereton Diaz. Obviously scored a penalty against us for Blackburn in the Cup last season, and I was hoping that he was going to be on the pitch for a penalty, and I would like to have seen him take a penalty. But it was Ollie Mack. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. So, like I said, the lineup, I wasn't that enamored by it, but at the same time, we got a lot of talent on the bench to come on too. But they were fantastic. If we played the full game with the starting 11, I probably wouldn't have minded that much. Obviously, fatigue comes into play, and we've got some good players on the bench to bring on. If you look at that, Ollie McBurney, Cameron Archer, Ryan Brewster, we'll talk about him later, Reece Davis, Ollie Norwood, all came on. That's 5 players that could easily get into the first 11. So I was very, very happy to see all those players come on. So, yeah. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better, isn't it? Anyway, let's talk about the first half. So, in the 10th minute, this was a common theme throughout the game was Vinny Souza losing the ball or passing the ball short and them just jumping on it and causing us problems. Actually, I don't remember seeing West Ham create anything in the first half, anything of merit anyway. Their goal came from a bit of a lucky bounce, really, that landed straight to him. I don't think they really kind of tested us other than us testing ourselves, if you like. So Vinny Souza in the 10th minute picks the ball up and kind of messes around with it. It lands to an L. He thinks he's got more time on it. He gets nicked off him. And then Jared Bowen is pretty much going, like, bearing down on goal. All he has to do is slip corner in, I think, and it's a one-on-one, but he takes it to one side and he puts it wide, luckily. 16th minute, Willisula upended just outside the box, very, very close to the box. Another great, great bit of play from Willisula. And then Harmer hits the ball. I think it was just to the side of the wall. Their player heads it away. Really, really good chance, but a little bit too close to the box for us to get it up and under. It reminded me of Stephen Quinn against Portsmouth in the first Premier League, well, the only Premier League season under Neil Warnock against David James, where I thought McAtee could just get on that and just up and down, but it wasn't to be. It was Gus Harmer who took it. And do you know what? I don't mind Gus Harmer taking free kicks from anywhere, really, because I think he's a top quality player. But we pushed and pushed and pushed, and I thought we were great all the first half. And then the 28th minute, completely against the run of play, Danny Ings gets the ball in the box, twists and turns, has a shot. It takes a huge deflection. And unfortunately, Cornet is on the left-hand side, all on his own, and smashes the ball past Wes. Wes does get caught at his front post. Yes, lots of people picking that point out, and I completely agree. He should be kind of looking after that front post more than the far post. But I think he's expecting it to go across his body because most goalkeepers cover that front post, so that they can dive to the left hand side to the far post, if you like. And I think he was just expected to go across his body, and he fired it at the front post. Yeah, Areola would have saved that, in my opinion. So yeah, I think Wes has got to take a little bit of the blame for that. But also, I think Jaden Bogle's got to take a bit of that stick as well for for not being there, because at the end of the day, that should be Jaden Bogle's man. The ball gets fired into, I can't remember who it was. It must have been a Nell, probably. And they're both stood on the same man, trying to block it and leaving Cornet all on his own anyway. Yeah, that is what it is. I'll run through some comments before we get going. Stephen Quinn was at the game today. He was in the Sheaf. No way. That's crazy, Callum. Crazy. That's such a weird reference, and then him being at the game today. Billy Sharp was also at the game today. I saw him walking sort of past the cop, I'm guessing to the family stand. He was on his phone like this, hoping that no one looked at him. I think it was one of those days where he just wanted to get to his seat and not be mobbed by adoring fans. I'll run through some comments first. What a waste of 2 points again. They were there for the taking. If we couldn't do that, we haven't a hope. Weak, slow, indecisive, give the ball away, and brain dead Brewster. We'll talk about Brewster in a little bit. Lots and lots of people talking about Brewster. Good day, Nick. Good result in the end. We deserved more, but I'll take it. Great performance overall from the lads. Thank you very much. But hey, went into the game thinking anything but a win isn't good enough. But I'm more than happy with today's result. Most of the team were brilliant, but disappointed with Brewster. Not over till it's over. A lot of people talking about Brewster, so I'll not talk about that just yet. Well done, lads. Definitely room for improvement, but a good, solid performance. Shame we didn't get the win, but not disappointed. Onwards and upwards. Nick, can you flower it all? Nick, you can flower it all you want. They were terrible, and we were worse. We were slow, naive. I disagree. I don't want to completely just click off it, Phil, but I completely disagree. Completely. I'm not trying to flower it up. I thought we were great for most of the game. There were a few things that weren't quite perfect, but I'm really surprised, really surprised that anyone could say that we were bad in that game. Wow. Who do we think we are? Do we think we're like Man City or something? That's a crazy statement to say. I'm sorry, mate. I just don't agree. But each to their own. That's why football's fantastic. Everyone has their own opinion. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't have got into the comments so early. But anyway, let's move on. Before we go on, it's gone. Oh no. Oh, my wife must have taken it downstairs. Oh, I just need to say thank you. A big thank you. Oh, no, it's here. To a gentleman earlier on the South Stand for giving me a chocolate orange out of the blue. That was very nice of him. That's not going to focus. It's just on my face. There we go. Very nice of him. I don't think it was meant for me. I don't think he was bringing it to the game for me. I think he was bringing it for a mate, but gave it to me and said, thank you for all the your hard work. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. So, gentlemen, I don't know your name. It was a very quick sort of exchange, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Anyway, it really did cheer me up after a pretty rubbish weekend, to be perfectly honest. So, thank you very much for that. Anyway, let's move on to talking about our goal, because on the 44th minute, I never thought it was going to come, because we were really good. It feels weird me saying we were really good now. Someone just said we were terrible, but I'm going to carry on being me, being honest, saying how I see it. And in the 44th minute, the fact that we were the better team, in my opinion, we deserved that goal. We just really did. And it was fantastic from start to finish. It was a long, I can't remember who it was from that right hand side. Maybe it was McAtee, maybe it was Harmer. A lovely ball that Trusty was still up from a corner, it must have been. He heads it right to the back post. Such a great header. Will Asula manages to get something on it. I think he heads it back towards goal. A fantastic save by Areola, but it's one of those ones where if Areola just gets a palm to it and it lands in the middle of his box, then one of their players probably clears it. But he tries to get so much on it that he knocks it straight into Ben Brereton Diaz's path. I won't say Ben Brereton Diaz's path because he had to do a lot more to score that goal than it just landed to him because James Ward-Prowse should have cleared it really, but Big Ben manages to get a toe on it and then smash it in the back of the net. Absolutely beauty of a finish from Ben Brereton Diaz. So like I said, that's going to just take him on and make him score more and more goals, I'm sure. But it was dangerous the whole half. They had to be on him constantly. I think sometimes he looks a little bit like he doesn't know what he's doing with the ball. But if he doesn't know, how are the defenders going to know? So I'm happy with that. We went into half time very, very happy. 1 minute before the 45, scoring a goal. And it was a ripper as well, to be fair, weren't it? Absolutely smashed it into the back of the net. So at half time, I went downstairs talking to my pals, and I was saying I thought we were really, really good. There was actually one just before half time where Ben Brereton Diaz got absolutely smashed in the back. Head, I don't know, could have knocked him out, and the referee didn't even give a foul. I think it was Souček. I don't think there's any of their other midfielders that could have smashed him as much as what he did, because yeah, that definitely was a yellow. I don't know. I'm not seeing it back. They don't show that on the highlights. But could have even been a red. I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. West Ham fans now watching this saying, what is he on about? But I'd only seen it once and it looked really, really dangerous, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, we go into the second half. Ollie McBurney comes on for Will Asula, and straight away I'm like, I like Ollie McBurney, but I just think that Will Asula had such a good first half. We had a lot of pace up front. And I want to just to carry on how we were playing, just carry on, because it obviously has to change when Ollie McBurney comes on because he doesn't possess the pace that Will Asula has or the mobility that Will Asula has. So you've got to play it differently. And the fact that we were so good in the first half, I just didn't want that to stop. That was the problem. And I think that Will Asula picked up. By the way, I can't say Asula or Will. I have to say Will Asula every time, which is weird. But it sounded like Will Asula picked up an injury just before half time. I didn't see him go down, but people around me said that that's what happened. So I'll take that as gospel. So McBurney came on. He did okay. He lost a lot of headers, in my opinion. Those where it's kind of like a 50-50 between you and the defender. He lost most of them. But he had some big guys that he was coming up against. He won a few flick-ons. He did quite well with holding the ball up at times. But yeah, it come back a lot more than what I would like for it to have had. I think that was the right. They were words, and I think they were in the right order. I didn't write too many things in the second half down because I normally write down kind of like bit by bit what happened, like highlight by highlight. But I was just enjoying the game so much that I didn't really write anything down. And in the 78th minute, against the run of play again, twice against the run of play, Danny Ings, I think he turns Robinson, possibly. I think he turns Robinson. This is what happens when you do a video straight after coming back from the match. He turns Robinson, I think, and then it's between Robinson and Harmer just, I think he clips the back of his heel and he goes down. Obviously, he's going to go down. These are seasoned Premier League players. Of course, Danny Ings is not going to throw himself to the ground when he gets slightly touched, but it was a foul. It was a penalty. At this point, I'm thinking, does VAR even exist? Because I'm not sure. There were so many things that happened in that first half and before the 79th minute when they scored their penalty that I thought, has that gone to VAR? Has that gone to VAR? Has that gone to VAR? And it just, I don't know if it's happening in the background because things are really slow. The transition from something happening to the game starting again. I'm not sure if it's going on in the background, but yeah, I was hoping that they were going to overturn this and he'd not touched him and he'd just dived, but it wasn't to be. James Ward-Prowse steps up and just slots it down the middle. Yeah, what can you say? Can't blame West for that one. But yeah, it was a lovely penalty down the middle and just devastated because it's like we've thrown this away again. Like I'm not saying we've thrown it away, but we've been so good in this game. We're just not taking our chances. I think it was that final ball just quite often was not good enough. And that's what happens when you're playing in the Premier League with players that are bottom end Premier League, top end Championship, you're always going to struggle, and you always need to put in 120%. Well, you always have to put in 120% in these games just to get anything out of them. And I feel like we did that today, even though you could only give 100%. We get to the 90th minute, 6 added minutes. West Ham wasted so much time after they scored that goal. It got a bit embarrassing after a bit. But that's what happens. That's what these sides do. The Premier League sides do that, and Championship sides do that. And everyone seems to do that these days. Every time any one of their players got anything sort of like a touch and they went down, got a free kick, they were down for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. And that's what ended up being their downfall because we scored a penalty. Ready for this? In the 100 and where is it? 103rd minute? Yeah, that's right. I'm doing maths right. 103rd minute, Ollie McBurney scored that penalty. And apparently, Hal's told me this, that Ollie McBurney has scored the latest goal in Premier League history. I know we were one of those, as in like we gave one away against Tottenham. I think it was Richarlison who scored the. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Kulusevski. He scored the latest ever goal against us earlier in the season. Apparently now we've got it, and it's Ollie McBurney who scored the latest goal in the 90 plus 13th minute. Because one, they wasted so much time, and two, it just went on and on. Obviously, the goalkeeper had to come off. Fabianski then walked on really, really slowly, and Ollie McBurney slotted the penalty past Fabianski. Was it a penalty? Probably just, but you don't get you never see those goals being those penalties being given in normal life watching football. You just don't see them being given ever. So it was nice to see one being given and nice for it to be given for us because normally when you see goalkeepers absolutely take someone out, they never get given a penalty against them. I think it was Onana earlier in the season against Wolves. He absolutely smashed a Wolves player and nobody gave anything. And the thing is with this, if this one would have gone to VAR, they wouldn't have overturned it. But the fact that the referee gave it, it's just ridiculous how that actually happens. And the VAR, what is the point in them being there? I just don't get it. But it's good. Don't get me wrong. We got this penalty. Ollie McBurney eventually put it away. I love how James McAtee was holding the ball for ages. The same thing happened against Wolves when Ollie Norwood took that penalty in the last second. Vinny Souza held the ball for ages and ages and ages, and then Ollie Norwood came in and took it off him. And it takes the pressure off the penalty taker, the fact that they don't have to stand there and wait. And James McAtee knows that he's not taking his penalty, so there's no pressure on him. So he stood there with the ball, and then eventually Ollie McBurney comes up, takes the ball off him, puts it down, slots it past the goalkeeper. I was a little bit worried, but I shouldn't be anymore. Ollie McBurney scored 2 penalties in 2. He's our penalty taker now, clearly. But yeah, that ends 2-2. I absolutely love this game for lots and lots of reasons. I thought that the Blades are back, as in we're putting in 100% effort. We are going for the jugular rather than just sitting back and hoping to get something on a break or from a corner or something that James McAtee's magically come up with something. So yeah, it's nice to see the Blades back and playing well. It's just a bit of a shame that it's a little bit too early. I put on a bit too late. Sorry, I put on Twitter earlier on that I think that if Chris Wilder would have been given the full season with this squad, I think we'd stay up. I actually completely stick with that. Yes, we haven't got the greatest squad in the Premier League, but we haven't got the worst squad in the Premier League, in my opinion. I think we've got a better squad than Luton. I think we've got more about us than Burnley. I think that maybe Brentford won't drop now Ivan Toney's come back. Forest are struggling with players being injured and stuff. Morgan Gibbs-White's out. The striker that scores all the goals is out. So yeah, but I think it's too late in the day. I think we got really unlucky against Luton, not to take all 3 points or even 1 point away from that one. But the problem is that we were so bad under Heke and we lost so many games under Heke that any sort of like this one today where we should have won, the Luton game where we should have won, we have to win those games. We can't drop points where we shouldn't drop points anymore because we're in such a bad position. So yeah, there you go, guys. I'm going to quickly run through some comments. Didn't think Vinny was great. No, I thought Vinny was quite poor, in all honesty, as well, to be fair. I thought that he's such a player that divides the fan base because he looks really slow and sluggish on the ball. But I quite like the fact that he's so confident on the ball. We've had so many players in the past that just want to get rid of the ball straight away. He doesn't. He likes to hold on to it for a bit, sometimes a little bit too long. But I don't think it was the fact that he held on to it too long today. I think it was more the fact that his passes were sloppy. We were playing really poor passes into the middle of the field, and then they were being intercepted by West Ham players. I'll carry on Chris's comment. Glad NL played, but was lucky not to be sent off. Confused that Diaz got brought off. My man of the match between Brooks, McAtee, and Bogle. Gonna give it to Bogle. Bogle was brilliant. He really was. And I think you're right with McAtee, Bogle, and Brooks. Brooks was fantastic. He really was. Ben Brereton Diaz also up there for me. I thought Anel had mostly a poor game, to be fair. And it does make me wonder sometimes because I really like Anel, but I don't think he's a central centre back. I think he's a right centre back that flies forward and gets involved in the attack. I think he is a good defender, but he gets pushed about a little bit too much for my liking. And I think he's too good a defensive footballer to be playing so far back, if you like. I really like him going down that right hand side and linking up, but obviously we're not going to be doing that going forward, it seems. But yeah, if Napoli want to pay 20 million or whatever it is for him, I think we'll probably let him go and try and reinvest that money in different ways. Especially if we could probably get a better central defender than him for a lot less money. Because I think he needs to be a right-sided centre back that's getting forward and linking up with the right wing back, if you like. Still unbeaten in 2024. That's the real quiz. That is the real quiz. Thank you very much, UTB. Finn Burton Diaz is a player. He's actually a player. Believe it or not, he's a player. Loved BBD. Is that what we're calling him? I don't think I can call him that. Celebrations to the West Ham fans. I didn't see that, to be fair. I did not see it. Much better today. We looked like a team deserving to be in the Premier League. Brewster is trying to. Oh my God, I didn't even talk about Brewster. Let's talk about Brewster, ladies and gents. What a silly Billy Ryan Brewster was. Now, if you're trying to enamor yourself to the fans that have written you off, and the fans that have given you a lot of stick in the past for not being very good in front of goal, and being very, very, very injury prone and just being injured in general. What you probably shouldn't do when you've come back from really, really bad injuries is just absolutely smash one of their players kind of 7 minutes after coming on the pitch. It was a horrendous tackle. Some people will say it wasn't a red card. You just can't tackle like that anymore, can you? And it was a silly thing to do. I don't know what went through his head. And in my opinion, having played football myself a lot, I never 2 foot. I don't know if it was a 2 foot or not. It looked very suspicious, like it could have been a 2 foot. But at the same time, I don't feel like anybody can 2 foot someone by accident. If you 2 foot someone, or if you go in that hard like that with studs up, I don't think that's by accident. I think that is to smash them. I think he was trying to win the ball, but you can't go in like that. And it's just not good enough. It's not. Especially when we are trying to get a point from this game. He almost threw that point away by doing that because we were on the front foot. And actually, we were really lucky to get the penalty in the end because we threw the ball into the box. And all the way through this game, that did not work for us, throwing the ball into the box and hoping for the best. So we were really lucky. I think for most of the minutes that were injury time minutes, we didn't have the ball. They had the ball a lot in our half, and we couldn't get the ball off them. So the fact that we managed to get the ball off them and got it forward, we just couldn't get it off them for ages because we had 10 and they had 11. That's Brewster, and I love that on Flash Score, the reason for Brewster's red card was tripping. Don't think that's quite right, to be honest, fellas. But yeah, it wasn't good enough. It was really, really poor. Uh, Claire saying Anel didn't look interested today. His head didn't seem in it. Mohammed says played well. Completely agree. I watched a different game to Phil. Thank you, Callum. Good to see you as well today, mate. Best half of football from the Blades I've seen all season. Defensive error from Bogle for the first, but he played very well aside from that. I'm glad more people are thinking that Phil doesn't Phil isn't one of those people that speaks for the majority. I think Burton Diaz was outstanding. Bogle and Brooks also had great games. Archer wasn't up to much when he came on. And let's not talk about Brewster. Completely agree. Deserve to win today. Thank you, Chris. I think so too. Brooks man of the match, gets better every game, and he's getting more megs every game as well. He's turning into prime Ender Stevens with his megging ability. Absolutely love it. Feel a little sorry for Trusty. He's no left back, but he gives it a good go. I think Trusty's been good. I think he's been good at left back, to be fair. I don't think he is a left back out and out, like you say, but he's good. Maybe after 60 years of watching the Blades, I expect too much. After 60 years of watching the Blades, I think I would expect less. Because in my lifetime, we've not been in the Premier League too much. So I think we've technically, in my lifetime, this is probably one of the best Sheffield United sides we've had. One of, because we're in the Premier League. So yeah, I definitely don't expect too much from Sheffield United. Harmer gives me a heart attack every time I watch him play. Lots of dangerous challenges, but then makes some of the most spectacular plays. Tough to see him concede the penalty. Definitely, Nathan. Definitely, buddy. I think that Brewster should be sold ASAP. Get the money. I don't think we're going to sell him for much, and I don't think he's going to want to leave when he's getting paid too much. I think that he's on the most at the club, from what articles I've read and things like that. So I can't imagine he's going to want to go Harvey's wages or something like that from going somewhere else. We look totally different side today from Wes through the defense, midfield, and attack. More purposeful, plenty of shots and chances against top end Premier League team. Definitely. Otherwise, a brilliant all round performance, such efficient passing and creativity. Great to watch. Hello. Overall, very positive about today, but Brewster terrible. How many more chances do we give him? That is the problem. Benny didn't win many headers because he was getting smashed time after time. You're right. Neil is absolutely right. That Benny should have got way, way, way more fouls than what he got today. I'm not sure he even got one. No, I think he got one, and that's when he got absolutely floored. Yeah, really, really poor. Spot on, Neil. But Nick, a point's a point, although it doesn't help us. It's a point, though. Well, you need a point. That's it. We needed a point from that today because I'd have been absolutely devastated if we wouldn't have got anything from that game because we played so well. Dave Mosley, thank you so, so much for the £4.99. I really, really appreciate that. What a gent you are, sir. If anybody else wants to donate, please do. It really, really helps. YouTube revenue is not what it is, what it used to be. And yeah, we are definitely making a lot less than what we used to. Hopefully get rid of Bruce of this window. I doubt that. Nice one, Dave. Nice one, Hal. Congrats. Evening, Hal. Diaz showing his class, a proper footy player. Yes, Ron. Yes, Ron. BBD is a category that yeah, I shouldn't have read that out, should I? Not a red challenge on Souza was worse a few weeks ago. Yeah, definitely. Tripping. definitely. Should have won today. We're not good enough in both boxes. Takes 10 chances to score a goal. Need an out-and-out left back who can offer something going forward. Brewster needs loaning out. Who's buying him? Yep. After 60 years of watching the Blades, I definitely expect less, John. So do I, mate. I've not watched them for 60 years, but I've watched them for probably just under 30 years. Thought Souza was excellent, outstanding that he gave the ball away a few times, but who didn't? Very, very true, Harry. Very, very true. If we put those early chances away, it's a different game. Completely agree. Ash, and that's where we are going to end the stream. Thank you very much, ladies and gents, for joining me and also dropping your comments in there. And Dave, for your donation. What a guy, what a man, what a legend. And also the generous gentleman for giving me a cream egg. Cream egg? No, a Terry's chocolate orange. I will certainly be enjoying that tonight. And Hal's getting absolutely none of it. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. A point at the end of the day, but it certainly could have been 3, couldn't it? See you soon.